So my son called me yesterday. He's preparing to make Nana's lasagna. My mom's, his grandmother's lasagna. My older son, Garrett, okay? Jack Jr. ain't gonna cook for nobody. But anyway, so I love them both. So Garrett wanted the recipe. So we took the time to write down the recipe. I realized I don't believe, I mean, maybe I did, maybe I'm losing my mind. I've already done this video, but I don't believe I've ever documented Nana's lasagna. This is her Christmas lasagna, okay? So we're gonna do it just like she did every Christmas. This isn't how we made lasagna throughout the year. This is for special occasions. 3 meatballs. It was just beautiful. I'm gonna run down all the ingredients with you. As you can see, it looks like a lot, but you know what? Growing up, pasta was inexpensive, and she would make this because it was less expensive than like prime rib or something. But it became famous in our house, and in fact, obviously, it became famous with other people over the years because, like, we couldn't find ricotta cheese, we couldn't find mozzarella cheese. Sorry, we couldn't find some of the ingredients we needed for lasagna. We're thinking, what is everybody making lasagna this year? So we brought it all out, and we're going to run through it all with you. We're going to document Nana's Christmas lasagna. All right, we're going to start with all our tomatoes, diced tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, puree, any type of a tomato or a tomato sauce in a can you want to get. Yeah, you know, we got the recipe down below. We tell you how much we use. We used to use diced tomatoes. This is the brand we used to go for. Tammy and I like this brand. This has a lot more flavor than the other brands. Let me just run down everything. Oregano and basil is a definite. We have both stacked here. Olive oil, of course. Garlic, of course. Onion, of course. We always do hot. 1 package hot, 1 package sweet. You do whatever you like. 2 eggs are going to be for the meatballs. But there are 3 meatball. The Italian way is beef, pork, and lamb. We got beef, pork, and lamb. Okay? Then you got the mozzarella, which is the mozzarella cheese. You got my mom would say the goth. She go, here's the goth. It's not the goth, it's ricotta cheese. Maybe the Italian way is the goth. I don't know. But here's basil, Italian breadcrumbs. She would use rigatoni for her lasagna pasta. She would do, we'll show you how she did it. But she'd use rigatoni in this dish. You'll see as we put it together. The most important thing is this bottle right here I'm holding on to. This is what makes the flavor. I can't explain to you why, but if you leave this out, it's going to be a bummer. All right, you got to use Merlot. Put some Merlot in that sauce, and it takes it to a whole nother level. And I believe, oh yeah, we have a tomato paste here. And I think we got everything. Are you guys ready to start doing it? I'm so excited because we're finally documenting this. I love you, Mom, by the way. All right, guys, I just wanted to add one more thing. Tammy reminded me the reason that you use the wine is not to get drunk. It helps with the acidic. It helps with the heartburn. Some Italians will put sugar in their sauce. I don't do sugar, of course. So there's some sugar already in the wine, but this will help break down the acid and help with everybody with indigestion or whatever. It's got to be a red wine though, okay? So if you don't like Merlot and you like another red wine, then go with that. Okay, so when my mom was alive, I helped her do all this. And then Tammy took over the tradition for a while, and I would help Tammy do all this. So documenting this for the first time ever so that it will always live forever. I'm very excited. I'm getting more excited as I get deeper into this video, all right? So first, this is pork, okay? It's very important. My mom was a stickler. It's hard to find ground lamb, but it's a 3-meat meatball in Italy. It's usually beef, pork, and lamb, all mixed together, okay? It's got an incredible flavor. You don't want to miss this step. If you can't get lamb, order it ahead of the holidays and get yourself a pound of lamb. There's many meat companies that ship now. So we're going to start with this pork. I got this pork from my buddy Paul. Thank you, Paul. I want to thank you. slaughtered a pig and gave me a whole bunch of stuff. So this is from my buddy Paul. So he's being a part of my Christmas lasagna. All right, we're gonna dump it in the bowl here, and then that's lamb, right? Okay. Sorry about that. I had to ask Tammy if this was the lamb. It's hard to tell when it's raw, but this is the ground lamb. We got this at Kroger. Yeah. So if you have a Kroger near you, you got to look. They're packaged by the pound. Ground lamb. All right. And of course, ground beef you can get just pretty much anywhere. But get a good ground beef. Get like a grass-fed ground beef. You want it, all your ingredients want to be the best they can be. So don't just use dried basil, but use fresh basil leaves. If you got to buy the plant, buy the plant. All right, so you got all this. Now what we're going to do to this meat, we're going to mix the meat, but we're first going to season it like we do hamburgers or meatloaf. All right, we're going to put our seasonings in. So you want 2 eggs as your binder. All right, so you drop 2 eggs in there. And we're going to spoon this wet garlic into the mix. Go ahead, sweetheart. Yeah, I don't want all that juicy, because it would be too garlicky. It would overpower everything. So we got 2 big scoops of garlic. That's approximately, what, 3 to 4 cloves?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we got a little bit of onion from the Amish market, a little dried onion. I'm gonna put that in there. And this is how I do my hamburgers. And my meatloaf tastes just like my hamburgers. It's weird. So I put lots of onion because that's one's coming out the slowest. There we go. So we got the egg, the garlic, the onion. And I don't put these in yet. So I'm going to mix it first. Then we're going to pour in. And you want to get the Italian breadcrumbs, okay? So we're going to put those in a minute. But let's get everything blended together first. We want the moisture right now. Then we throw the breadcrumbs in to take up the moisture a little bit. Hey, how come you get to mix it? I thought I was going to do it.
No.
Why are you stealing my thunder? I'm serious. You know how great it is to squeeze the eggs?
You want to
I
do it?
dig
You
up.
want
No,
in?
you already destroyed the eggs. They're done. They're dead. There's no squeezing.
Yes.
Here, I'll rotate the bowl. Is that better? Make sure you grab the gloves right away before your wife gets them. Okay? And so you get to play this fun. Now let me show you the breadcrumbs. We got it mixed. We're just going to kind of cover the whole top with breadcrumbs because it will all get absorbed. Keep that on hand. That's approximately about half a cup. I'm not sure. You're just going to eyeball it. Just going to mix that in. If it still feels wet, throw in. You want it to feel like wet sand, not anything wetter than that. So if it's too wet, throw in more breadcrumbs. Need more breadcrumbs?
Probably, yeah.
Hold on a minute. There you go.
We almost use like 3/4 of a cup to a cup of breadcrumbs. When you have 3 pounds of meat.
Oh, you're getting good, honey.
I'm just telling you, that's typically.
My wife is so amazing at cooking. She's been my backbone. Oh, we lost a piece.
Pick it up.
Well, hold on. There we go. We'll give that to the relative we don't like. We'll give them that piece. I'm just kidding. All right, so basically, these are the meatballs. So you're gonna roll these. We'll show you about how big to roll them in just a moment.
That should be good, I think, right?
Yeah, we got the seasoning all throughout here. Don't be afraid of seasoning, okay? Seasoning is not like baking. Baking, if you put too much, you ruin the dish. But seasoning, you can never over-season. I've never been arrested for putting too much garlic in something. I'm in the way, I'm in the way, I'm in the way. Whoop, ouch. Okay, I'm not in the way anymore. I'm over here. So anyway, Tammy's gonna show us basically the kind of size of a meatball you want. What do you think? 1 to 2?
1 to 2
1 to
inches.
2 inch meatballs. Don't go too big because you're gonna need to brown these up. And if you go too big, it takes too long and the outsides get overcooked. It's a big mess. So I will show you in a moment how beautiful. And remember, the smaller you make the meatballs, the reason we do 1 to 2 inch meatballs, just like that, is so that everybody gets some and there's still some left over for you at midnight. Nothing's better than leftover holiday food. Look at this. Would you say 24, honey?
24.
24 meatballs were made out of that 3 pounds of meat. And all the meats are mixed and seasoned. Beautiful, gorgeous. And now about the other meat, the Italian sausage. One is sweet and one is hot. So this is how I treat my sausage. It's super simple. The sausage, you have nothing to do but cut it in half. So you're going to take a knife. You're going to press through on that. I leave it in the package. Take the plastic off the top so you don't get it in the meat. But just basically cut right through. Okay? The reason we did this, because not everybody got sausage at Christmas because we ran out. So we cut them in half and then we cooked them this way and everybody was able to get some and there was still leftovers. So it worked out really nice. We got meatballs done. We got sausage cut. Browning time. You ready? Meet me over at the stove. Okay, guys. Oil, olive oil in this pan. We're going to heat that up. Olive oil in our big skillet, both from the Rock cookware that I'm madly in love with. It would be the #1 Christmas present to anybody. All right, so let's turn that on. All right, you got it on medium high, got a flame, double check if there it is. Do the same thing with this one. Whoops, that's the back flame. There we go. Medium high, make sure you got a flame, yep. Got a flame. All right, so what we're gonna do, heating oil in both of these. I'm doing sausage in here, meatballs in here. I've got all my meatballs over here, I've got all my sausage over on this other side. We're gonna tag team. We're just gonna go back and forth. Get a big bowl, put all your meat in there, set it off to the side. We're not making the sauce just yet, okay? We're gonna brown all the meat first. Save the drippings from the meat. Set your meatballs in. You can get a lot of meatballs in. Make sure you can roll them around. Don't put too many meatballs in. Space them out. You need to add a little more oil. Add a little more oil. We're not deep frying them. We're browning them. Okay, the beautiful part is, as these sausages cook, because they're cut, Tammy brought up a good point, the juices come out and get into the sauce. I've already got one whole package in there. Take your time, it's going to take about an hour to do all this. As you can see, we're collecting all our meat. You got to be careful. One thing, super important. A kid may walk by and do that. And the little meatball, gone. All right, I'm going to show you a little trick. So when I'm trying to rotate a meatball for cooking, I use other meatballs to do it. Watch this. So see, it's kind of raw right there, right? So I take my meatball, set it on a meatball, and let it roll right off. See that? And now it's cooking the side that isn't cooked. How do you do it again? One more time. Boom. I use one meatball to rotate another one. Set it right on top. Boom. It's where I want it to go. This one's got a raw side. Boom. Now it doesn't. This one has a little bit of a raw side. It's on it now. So you use other meatballs to roll meatballs the direction you want. Just a little trick. All right, so we're going to start blending now. You guys ready? I know my head's cut off. It's Christmas. We can do whatever we want. But this is an important step. This is when you blend the sauce before you put it in, and you blend the seasonings into the sauce. But remember, season heavily because you're seasoning for the entire sauce pot. So you may season just garlic in 2 cans. Put enough garlic for the whole pot. So it may be strong here, but when you pour it into the pot with all the other sauce, it'll disperse. Does that make sense? So we're doing 2 cans at a time, all right? And then we're seasoning those 2 cans. So let me show you how this works. Okay, and it's with all your tomato products, whole tomatoes, diced tomatoes, whatever. There's one can. Okay, so we're going 2 cans at a time, all right? So we got 1 can in, now seasoning, and then the second can goes on top. So let's like grab some garlic. You may want to do separate seasonings in each batch. You may want to do the same seasoning in each batch. My mom always did. You know, I'm doing 2. She would do like get the season as long as you get the seasoning in for the sauce, and this would be good for the whole pot. I have enough garlic. Let's put some onion in. All right. Remember, you can't season too much. You just can't. All right. That's for the whole pot basically. So you got to realize I got to put a little extra in for this batch because it's going to be for the whole dinner. All right. Then we're going to take a little oregano and stay right there, plunger. Put a little oregano in. And by the way, if you season too much, there's nothing wrong with putting a spoon in there and scooping out what you don't want. There's oregano. Do the same thing with basil. So we got most of our seasoning in there. All right, you may want to break up your seasonings according to batches. It's all up to you. So we're going to now add our second can of sauce. This is the tomato puree. Right on top. See that raise the seasoning right up there? My mouth is watering as I'm doing this. There we go. And my mom would always rinse the can a little bit to get all that tomato sauce out of the can. I'm fine. I don't need any. If you choose to, you can. But remember, it makes the sauce thinner. You'll need to add more paste. So we're going to close this up. Don't forget your plunger to plug your hole. All right. Then you're going to, does that go up right there? Is it on high? I want to hold this.
Like 5.
Yeah, would you? I'm going to let Tammy turn this on because I can't see the controller.
Yeah, well, if you had it plugged in.
There you go. Honey, that's a great job.
You had it plugged in.
I unplugged it for safety reasons. I never put stuff in a blender and until it's unplugged. I just don't. So now let's turn on the real deal. And this should mix up all the seasoning. Go ahead, put it up a little higher. It's all good. Now we've blended seasoning into this batch. We're going to do another batch. More seasoning, another batch till you have all your sauce cans in. Follow the recipe, season in each batch according to your liking. I'm not telling you to use garlic if you don't like garlic. I'm not telling you to use basil or oregano if you don't like that, all right? So we're going to take this and pour it now into the big sauce pot because we're done with this, and then we'll go to the next step. All right, here's another trick. You don't have to do this, but if this helps you, my mom would always cut the top and bottom out of the can, and then it should, I don't know if it's going to, it should slide right out. Yeah, there it goes. Oh, Tammy's telling me to put it in the blender. Yeah, that's right. Here we go. But if you can see, it comes right out. Whoop. That was a great idea, Tammy. Oh my gosh, please put that in the recipe that we splash sauce all over my glasses. Is that cool? No, they can't see my disgust still. Can't believe you.
Look, they can now.
That's not funny. I have sauce all over my face. Put it in the blender where the liquid is so we can get the biggest splash possible. Okay, rules of cooking pasta sauce. A bigger pot, it's more likely could burn. So be careful. Stir often. Use a low flame to heat the sauce. If it burns, pour off the sauce. Do not mix the burn into the sauce. If you see a flake because you burn the sauce, don't move the sauce. You're going to take another pot, Pour this off. You'll see the burn on the bottom. Leave it there. Don't mix it into all the sauce and destroy everything, okay? So we blended everything. You could put a pot lid on this, but as you can see, there's still some kind of liquid water still in here because of the tomatoes. So you want nothing but thickness on a pasta sauce. Either put a screen cover over this so it doesn't splash, or you put a lid on this and tip it and crack it a little bit so moisture can get out, okay? Otherwise, we're pretty much done. We're going to take this mixture. There's only one last thing I'm going to do that you don't have to do. We're going to mix it up. It feels beautiful. We took all the meat drippings. We poured it in here when we browned all our meat. All the little bits, you can see little dark bits. That's all from the meat. Okay, so the last step I'm doing, you don't have to do this, but the last step I'm doing, my mom raised us on, these are red pepper flakes. Just sprinkle a little bit, not a lot, because you got family coming over. Just put a little heat in there. That's it. Okay? That will pop. Just a little bit will be great. All right? And then get that mixed in. There you go. And then you want to cook everything together. So we're going to add in the meat in a minute. First, I'm not putting the meat in yet. I'm going to warm this first. Get it to a warmer temperature. Then add the meat. All right, guys, most important part while it's warming is Merlot wine. Now, if you have a 700, a normal Merlot wine bottle, you're going to pour in about a third of the bottle, which is about a cup of wine. I'm eyeballing it. I promise you, if you forget this step, it won't be the same. Okay, you got about a cup in there. This is what makes the sauce. And you use this anytime you make sauce. Use Merlot wine, or you can use Burgundy. It's a little bit cheaper, but when we were able to afford better wine, my mom would go with Merlot wine. Everything's seasoned, the wine's integrated, and now you're going to heat it all. And by the way, during this heating process, you're going to cook out any alcohol, so you have nothing to worry about. Okay, once this gets warm and bubbly, we'll show you the next step. As you can see, the whole surface is kind of moving and simmering a little bit. You see bubbles breaking. That's when you add the meat back in. So go ahead and get your meatballs and submerge. Make sure everything gets submerged. So you want all the meat to be flavored by the sauce, and all the sauce to be flavored by the meat. Okay, see all our meat's in there now? You got to be gentle so you don't break up your meatballs. It's not going to make a big difference, but you'd like the meatballs to stay intact, so you gently stir. Gently stir all your meat in. We got like 4 packages of sausage and 24 meatballs in this pot. Make sure everything's under, submerged. You want to test your meat, make sure it's cooked, grab a meatball, make sure it's where it needs to be. But if all your meat's already cooked because of the browning process, then you only need about 15-20 minutes of warming this. If you need to cook your meat, it could be as much as an hour. All right? The longer you simmer this and stir gently, always do like the perimeter, okay? That's where the water will be. This will thicken up. You got paste in here. Oh, the smell, you guys have no idea how good this smells. Okay, guys, while the meat is in the sauce, flavoring the sauce, we're going to go to boiling water and cook your rigatoni according to the box. We usually do about 2 pounds. Depends on how many people you're feeding. So go ahead and pour the water's boiling, so go ahead and pour your pasta in. Rigatoni is what we use. That's what we recommend. All right, so let's go ahead and mix this up real quick. You always mix it right away so it doesn't stick to each other. So the heat of the water will take the starch off. See how they're all still separate? So mix instantly. Okay, once you've mixed instantly, mix every few minutes to keep it separate. If you're a little afraid, you can put a drop of oil in there. I've seen people do that. I don't do that, but you never know. And then you come back in a few minutes, give it a mix again, make sure these pieces aren't sticking together. We're going to eat every piece individual. All right, guys, see this little colander? This strainer is kind of a yellowish orange. Well, This honestly was my mom's, and she gave it to me when I moved out. So this is something I have from my mom. Like my pasta bowl, I have a pasta bowl that's from her. I have this. I have a pot that was always hers. So these things last forever. So anyway, I'm using this in honor of her. So let's get started. I'm going to back away and let Tammy build it the way she does. My mom taught Tammy how to do it, and Tammy's been nailing it and making it better every year. Okay, first thing you want to do is line the bottom. Take 1 spoonful of sauce, maybe 2. All right, and make sure you just shake it to where you've completely coated the bottom with sauce. And that's what it looks like. And that's it. That's the first layer. All right, next layer is a little more tedious. You're going to line up an entire layer of rigatoni. And they should lay side by side. Don't press them into the sauce. Let them sit on top of the sauce. And don't pile too many. You want a single layer. Okay, now we have an entire layer of pasta. Then you take spoonfuls of ricotta and break it up along the top of this pasta. You want little clumps of ricotta cheese. It'll melt and disperse. But just go along the top and make a layer of little bumps of cottage. Not bump. Why am I saying cottage cheese? I mean ricotta cheese. Oh, that bell means that Jack Jr. has arrived. Mm-hmm. I guarantee he's gonna steal a meatball. Honey, we got the meat away. Hide the meat. He just got off work. He's a working man now. So proud of him. So this video is for Jack Jr. as much as it is for all of you. So that as Jack Jr. grows up with his kids, that he can make it the same way.
Okay. So that's there. So now then you go and just sprinkle.
Just sprinkle a little bit of sauce on the next layer. All right, the next level is your mozzarella cheese. You got squares. It should fit perfectly. If not, overlay them a little bit. You can't have too much cheese. It's like too much garlic. And do an entire layer of cheese. And we had purchased about 2 pounds to ensure, because we'll use it on sandwiches too if we have too much. So we always buy extra. We never want to run out of merchandise. So we got it all layered. And the last piece is going in. And you start all over again, right?
Yeah, then you just start. Then this layer you don't put sauce on.
Yeah, don't put sauce on this layer. Just start a layer of pasta. And you don't have, you can use mozzarella, I mean not mozzarella. You can use, what's the other pasta? Rigatoni, mascioli, that's it. You can use mascioli, but it's going to be a little bit smaller pieces, and they're not big enough. You can even make it any layer of pasta. You can do the tricolor pasta. You can do pasta shells. We don't care, as long as you make a layer of pasta.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. Okay, and if you want to use the no-bake pasta, you'll have to research that. You can get regular pasta, lasagna sheets. You can use those if you want. I'm not claiming to use those, or this I know will come out perfect.
So it's always best to make your pasta the day before, because then it just can sit, and then all you have to do is just put it in the oven and bake it.
Yeah, we're making. You mean your lasagna, right?
Sorry, yeah, your lasagna.
No, that's brilliant. You make everything ahead of time, guys. You wrap it, and then you pop it in the oven when you're ready to serve it, just to get the cheese all melted and golden brown. All right. So how many days ahead are we?
We're about 2 days.
We're like 2 days from Christmas Eve. This is for Christmas Eve. We have prime rib for Christmas dinner. So we're doing this for when people come over on Christmas Eve. We can partake in this and share with people. And it should work out every single level. You'll probably get, 2 or 3 levels?
2 or 3 levels.
Depending on the size of your tin. If you get a deep dish tin, you'll get 3 levels. If you get a regular tin, you'll get 2 levels out of it. So I'm being completely honest with you guys. This one is for Christmas Eve, so we're going to just put foil over this and pop in the fridge, and then we'll pop in the oven on Christmas Eve. So we made this ahead of time. This little baby one over here, this is for the show. That's for today. We're going to put this in the oven, and bring it golden brown and show you what it should look like before, like when you serve it, okay? This one's for me to taste, and this one is for Christmas Eve and our guests. We do have people coming over on Christmas Eve, bringing gifts and stuff, and we want to have something to share with them, okay? So this one gets put away once again, cover it, and break it out when you're ready. Could be Christmas Day, could be Christmas Eve, doesn't matter. We finally documented Nana's Christmas lasagna. And then I want to talk about the garlic bread really fast. So give me 1 second to go grab the garlic bread. Okay, guys, so we got our Italian bread here, and this was literally $1 at Walmart. It's super soft. It's super perfect. And I'm sorry, not Walmart. Excuse me. Was this Walmart? Yeah, we got the bread at Walmart, but this garlic spread we pick up because we like it, and it's perfectly seasoned and everything. As you can see, the colors. Okay, this is the spread we use. This is from Kroger. Okay, find a good garlic spread. This was, how much was this per container?
$2.50.
Like $2.50. Okay, this will do 2 loaves. So we'll do this one and another loaf for our guests. Now, let me tell you how to cut the bread. Now, me personally, if I was doing it, I would cut the bread like in chunks, like this. So you get thick pieces of garlic bread, kind of like Texas toast. And then I'd put the spread on each slice. But Tammy does a little bit different. She'll slice the bread all the way in half. She'll butter the entire surface. We'll toast it in the broiler in our oven, and then she'll cut it. And it comes out perfect every time. This is the biggest warning I'm giving you. Literally, if you're using your broiler, this will burn in like 6 minutes. So be watching every minute. Look every minute, because this will burn, and then you have no garlic bread for your dish, okay? So that's my recommendations to you. I do the garlic spread from Kroger. I do the bread from Walmart. Do whatever works for you. Watch your bread. It will always burn. Also, the best way to toast your bread is put it on the bottom shelf so it's not close to the flame. It takes a little bit longer to become golden brown. You'll know when it's done. Just watch it. All right? All right, so that's a glimpse of how the big one should look. This is the baby one, but the big tray on Christmas Eve is going to golden brown, a little bit on the tops and the edges, and let it set for about, I would say 5 to 10 minutes so it can get solid. So when you cut it, it'll come out nice. So I'm going to have Tammy pull out a section. It's been sitting for about 10 minutes, starting to pull away from the edges. It's beautiful. You can take a knife and just cut the cheese because it may adhere to the edge. So just drag a nice paring knife around the perimeter before you cut. All right? Check this out. Okay, look at this. This is beautiful. Look at that sauce. It's thick all around. You got one meatball. This is how you serve it up. You give the person one meatball, one piece of sausage, and plenty of sauce, and you got all your cheese, and you let it cool a little bit because it's got a better consistency, okay? So let me give this a try right now. So Jack Jr. is right upstairs above me. He's gaming right now, has no idea this even exists. I'm going to have Tammy make him a plate. We'll bring it up to him, and we'll surprise him. He's going to be like, oh, it's just like Christmas. All right, let's give this a try. Just dig in. Oops. There we go. It's going to be all cheesy. All right? It's going to be hot, too. How dare this meatball lie around with nobody paying attention to it? He's probably playing Call of Duty right now. But I know something for sure. I'm having more fun. All right? You can taste the wine. You can taste the seasoning and the garlic, the onions, the basil. Everything is in that meatball. The macaroni came out flawless. The cheese is cheesy, just like you like it. I'm going to go finish this. This is my dinner. So I love you guys. We finally documented my mom's recipe. It's called Nana's Christmas Lasagna. Merry Christmas from Tammy and I, and Jack Jr. and Brianna, and we love you so much. We look forward to next year.